And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at Expedition Luxor from Queen Games. Now this is a kind of an odd duck here. It is a retheming of a game from Ritter Dorn, very good designer, called Robber Knights. But they wanted to put it in the Luxor universe. Luxor, of course, being the game from Queen Games last year, which was nominated for Family Game of the Year, the Spiel des Jahres. It did not win, but it's still being nominated. It's still pretty prestigious. A pretty simple family-style game about going inside a pyramid and finding treasures. I don't think that's enough to make a universe around it. In fact, I think it's deliberately confusing. Expedition Luxor. Someone sees it, they're like, oh, I like Luxor, I like this. That is not the case here. You will likely not like one based on the other. You know, they're very different games. This is a very, very, very abstract game to the point where it was called something completely different. They just rethemed it and put it in the desert. That doesn't mean it's a bad game. It's just kind of a weird marketing thing here. It is Expedition Luxor, but whatever. Let's see if the game is fun. Each player is going to get a stack of tiles, and these tiles are numbered from 1 to 5. You'll shuffle each number and put them down. You'll draw your 4 number 1 tiles. You'll keep 2 of them, and the other 2 you put in the middle. Those are shuffled together with everyone else's number 1 tiles and put to have a starting board here in front of everyone. You're also going to get 30 adventurer tokens that are yours, and so you'll be using those over the course of the game. Now this is part of a grid that's going to be built, and the grid is going to be a different size based on the number of players. So in a 4-player game, it'd be a 10 by 10. On your turn, you're going to pick one of the 2 tiles in your hand and place it adjacent to a tile on the grid and draw a replacement tile. You can do that up to 3 times. So maybe my second time, I would do this. And then my third time, I will do this. Now placing a camp, which is what I just placed, is one of the critical things of the game. You must place 1 camp on a spot here, so you must always put 1 camp out there. Unless it's a camp that's on an oasis like this, then you need to put at least 2. But you can put up to 5. So I'm definitely going to put up to 5 on this one. Then you can move them in a straight line if you want to. So maybe I'll move them here. It costs 1 to move into each of these sandy areas. It costs 2 to go to an oasis, and it costs 3 to go into the mountains. So here I might drop 1, and I might leave 2 there, drop 1 here, and then put 1 here. I don't care if I go into these mountains or not. I have to be careful because someone else could go on top of me. This player could place a camp here, and then they could just put on 3, leaving 1 in the camp and dropping 2 here. And the reason they might want to do that is because there can only be a maximum of 4 adventurers per tile. Once the 4th one's there, it's kind of locked in place. And so you're just going to go back and forth, taking turns, placing out tiles. Once you're done with all your adventurers and or tiles, you're done until everyone else plays. And you're trying to get control of both camps, pyramids, and these temples. At the end of the game, each one where on the top of the stack, it's your color disc. So this is worth 3 points for a pyramid, 1 point for a camp, and 2 points for a temple. So right now, yellow has 1 plus 2, 3. Black has 1 plus 3, 4. But you're going to be playing around and moving these. Now that's the base game. There is an optional expansion module that's included that gives each player a bunch of these tokens of their color. You'll draw 3 of these, and you'll be able to spend these on your turn to do various things. Like a boat lets you bring someone back from a mountain. Snakes bring someone back from a mountain, and you can put somewhere else. And so the rules will show you what each one does. It lets you have a little bit more maneuverability with your pieces to move them from one spot to another. Once all the players are done, you'll simply count up who has the most points on the board, and whoever has the most points is the winner. Everyone's terrain pieces are essentially the same. You'll have them in a slightly different order. You'll also have these lakes too, which simply just block movement in general. The game is a wash of non-color. We got orange, gray, yellow, and black, and then a bunch of extremely boring looking tiles. I mean, I guess that's not bad with the Oasis, but the rest of it, I know it's desert, but you know, they use the same piece of artwork over and over and over again. These tiles aren't that interesting. The whole thing's very blah, and the whole thing takes up a fairly small portion of the fairly large box. Still not sure, you know, on the retheming of this, but there you go. That's what's in this box. Nothing really to get excited about. Yeah. Oof. Here's the thing. I get how the game works. Makes sense. You can play tiles and you have to decide how fast you want to put your people out. Do you want to put them out quickly? You want to block off your section of the board so people can't get there. Once the board is set, you know, 10, 9, 8, whatever it is, based on the number of players, then you can try to, you know, you get your stuff in a corner, take control of that corner. It's just kind of like Othello, where you want to control the corners and you want to get those pyramids. They're 3 points, but any points matter, and you want to be on the top. So do you put 4 of your guys in one spot and just leave them there, guaranteeing yourself those points, or do you spread out, hoping no one will jump over you? It's definitely more chaotic with 4 players than with 2. 2 is very strategic back and forth. But pointing out again, 0 theme. Like 0. I don't even get why you put 2 guys in an oasis over 1 in a desert. That doesn't even make any sense. You need more people to go through an oasis? Seems like it'd be easier to go through an oasis. That's just odd. And the graphics design doesn't really help in that matter at all. There's no theme. This is like a big abstract strategy game, which is why, again, this Luxor nonsensical theming doesn't make any sense at all. So the game looks boring. It's not going to be that interesting because it's themeless to many people. But that doesn't matter if the game itself is fascinating, and I just don't see this one being that way. It's like, I'll put out this, I'll move my guys. And there's a little bit of a push your luck aspect. I'm going to see if I can put my guys out before you or wait. You know, but if you wait too long, then all the spots on the board where you could have put out people have been covered up. This game is so forgettable. I never even played the original. I don't know who thought the original needed to be reprinted. I hadn't heard anyone ask for it. It was reprinted with an even more, well, maybe not even more, but a laterally boring theme. That is just not one I can really recommend. There's so many interesting, fascinating games out there right now. This one is okay at best, and when you add the theme, which is like almost a negative aspect to it, and I know some people are like, well, Tom, you don't like abstract games. No, I really do like abstract games. I'm not sure I like them when they, trap themselves up in these themings. But even by itself, it's just, there's a little too much luck in the tiles that get drawn, and a little bit, there's just not a lot. Even with that module with those tiles, the whole game, I'm bored. And I don't play games to be bored. So I'm not going to play this one. Dice Tower Judgment, it's just boring.